Admiral Menu stood on the bridge of the Earth defense ship Horizon, watching the stars through the wide viewport. His reflection stared back at him, a tired man with gray at his temples. He had been in space for 30 years, and for all 30 of those years, he had been told to hold back. Admiral, another distress call from Colony World Artemis 7, his communication officer reported. They are attacking again. Menu closed his eyes for a moment. That made 5 colonies in 2 months. 5 times he had arrived too late or been ordered to use only defensive measures. 5 times he watched human settlements burn while he followed the rules. "How long until we arrive?" he asked. 4 hours, sir." 4 hours. It might as well be 4 years. The ships were fast and they never stayed long. They hit hard, took what they wanted, and disappeared before any help could arrive. The Galactic Council called them pirates. Menu called them something else, but he kept that opinion to himself. On the other side of the galaxy, Ambassador sat in the Great Hall of the Galactic Council. The chamber was enormous, filled with representatives from 43 different species. Some floated in tanks of liquid. Others sat on platforms designed for their unique bodies. The delegation stood in the corner, tall and covered in dark armor that looked like insect shells. "Ambassador," the council speaker said. The speaker was a species that looked like a walking tree. "You have requested to speak. The council recognizes Earth." Stood, her formal diplomatic robes feeling heavier than usual. "Thank you, Speaker. I come before this council for the 5th time in 2 months to protest the attacks on human colonies by forces." A clicking sound came from the delegation. Their translator device turned it into words. "Lies. The Empire does not attack peaceful settlements." "I have evidence," said calmly. She had learned not to show anger here. The other species saw human emotions as primitive. "Recordings from our colonies, weapons signatures, ship identifications." The speaker swayed slightly. "The council has reviewed your evidence. It is inconclusive. Many species use similar weapons. Many ships look alike." Wanted to scream. The evidence was perfectly clear, but she knew the truth. The council did not want to act against the Empire was large and powerful. Earth was new and small. The math was simple. "Then I formally request council protection for human colonies," said. More clicking from perhaps the humans should defend themselves better. The council chamber filled with various sounds of agreement. Sat down, her hands shaking with controlled rage. She sent a coded message to Earth. The same message she had sent 5 times before. "They will not help us." Back on Earth, in a secure facility deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, read the message from. She was the director of Earth Intelligence, and she knew things that most people did not. She walked through corridors of steel and glass until she reached a conference room where was Earth's chief strategic officer. He was older than, with white hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. On the table between them lay folders marked with the highest security classification. "Another refusal from the council?" asked. "Yes," said. "They will not help. They will not even acknowledge the attacks are real." Opened one of the folders. Inside were documents that dated back 47 years, to when Earth first joined the Galactic Council. "Then perhaps it is time to remind them who we really are." "The government will never agree," said. "The Prime Minister believes in diplomacy." "The Prime Minister believes in survival," corrected. "And if we keep pretending to be weak, we will not survive." They both knew the secret. When Earth joined the Galactic Council, humanity had been shocked to learn something important. Humans were different from almost every other intelligent species in the galaxy. Humans were predators. They had evolved from hunters. Their eyes faced forward to track prey. Their teeth were designed to tear meat. Their bodies were built for endurance and violence. Most species in the galaxy had evolved differently. They were prey animals or scavengers who developed intelligence to hide and survive. They created civilization to escape from predators, not to organize them. When they looked at humans, they saw something that frightened them on an instinctual level. So Earth's government had made a choice. They would hide what humans really were. They would be peaceful, diplomatic, and weak. They would not show their weapons or their history of warfare. For 47 years it had worked. Earth was accepted into the galactic community. But now they were testing them, and they were dying for the lie. His communication device buzzed. She looked at the screen and her face went pale. "It's Minu. The horizon has reached Artemis 7. Stood immediately, put him through." Minu's face appeared on the large screen. Behind him, the bridge of his ship was dark except for emergency lights. His expression was one had never seen before. It was the face of a man who had seen too much. "Artemis 7 is gone," Minu said quietly. "The colony ship New Dawn was destroyed completely. 3,000 civilians. There were children on that ship, families." "Did you see the attackers?" asked. "We tracked them. Heavy cruisers, 12 of them. They jumped out before we arrived, but they did not care about hiding their signatures this time. They wanted us to know it was them." Felt something cold settle in her stomach. This was a message. "Yes," Minu agreed. "They are telling us they can kill us whenever they want, and no one will stop them." Was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "Hold your position, Minu. Defend the remaining colonies in that sector. Use any force necessary." Minu's eyes widened slightly. "Any force? Are you sure? That authorization has never been given before." "I am sure. Protect our people, Admiral, by any means required." The transmission ended. Looked at. "The government will have to be informed." "I will inform them," said, "and I will show them the files, all of them. It is time Prime Minister understood what we have been keeping hidden." He picked up the folders from the table. Inside were records of weapons systems that Earth had built but never deployed. Ships that were classified as exploration vessels, but carried enough firepower to destroy planets. Soldiers trained in combat techniques that the galaxy had never seen. Technologies developed from 300 years of human warfare, perfected and waiting. 47 years of pretending to be civilized. 47 years of hiding the truth. 3,000 dead civilians. Walked toward the door, then paused. "Prepare the defense protocols, all of them. If they want to see what humans can really do, we should be ready to show them." Nodded. She understood what he meant. The protocols had levels. Level 1 was what they had been using: shields, evacuations, non-lethal deterrence. Level 2 was actual combat with conventional weapons. But there were 10 levels total, and humanity had not needed to use anything beyond Level 1 for 47 years. As left the room, looked at the screen showing the debris field where Artemis 7 had been. Somewhere in that field were 3,000 bodies. 3,000 people who died because Earth was pretending to be something it was not. She activated her secure terminal and began typing authorization codes. The protocols were buried deep in Earth's defense networks, waiting for a day everyone hoped would never come. That day had arrived. The pretense of peace was over. Captain guided his ship through the darkness between stars. The Silent Promise was not like other Earth vessels. It did not appear on any public registry. Its hull absorbed light and sensor waves, making it nearly invisible. Had been following the fleet for 3 weeks, and they had no idea he was there. "Captain, the ships are changing course," his navigator said. "They are heading toward human space again." Leaned forward in his chair. "Which colony?" "Unknown, but they are meeting with other ships, not." That was new. Activated the long-range sensors, being careful not to emit any signals that might give away his position. On his screen, he saw the cruisers rendezvousing with ships that looked like they were made of crystallized energy. Their hulls glowed with a soft blue light. "Vessels," his sensor officer confirmed. 5 of them. They are working with the collective." Immediately recorded everything and sent an encrypted transmission back to Earth. This was bigger than random attacks. The N were coordinating. That meant the attacks on human colonies were not just piracy. They were planned. On Earth, Prime Minister sat in his office, reading reports he wished were fiction. The folder had given him contained 47 years of secrets. He had known Earth was holding back militarily, but he had not understood the scale. His communication screen activated. Face appeared. Prime Minister, we have new intelligence from Captain. They are working with the... Why would they attack us? Asked. We have no disputes with them. We believe this is a test, said. Multiple species are watching to see how humans respond to aggression. If we appear weak, others may join the attacks. Felt very tired. He had spent his entire career trying to keep Earth peaceful. Now he was being told that peace was making them a target. What do you recommend? Authorize Stage 2 protocols. Let our ships fight back properly. Show the galaxy we are not defenseless. Before could respond, another alert came through. Earth's leading was requesting an emergency meeting, told her to come in immediately. Entered carrying a data tablet filled with biological scans and evolutionary charts. She was young for someone in her position, but she had spent years studying alien species. She got straight to the point. Prime Minister, I need you to understand something about humans, she said. We are the only apex predators in the Galactic Council. Every other intelligent species evolved as prey animals or scavengers. Frowned, I know this. It is why we have been careful about our image. Yes, but do you understand what it means? Pulled up images of alien species. The evolved hiding in forests from things that ate them. The developed intelligence to sense danger before it arrived. They are warriors, yes, but they evolved from scavengers. They fight in swarms because that is how they survived. She pulled up an image of a human. We evolved to hunt. Our eyes face forward to track movement. Our bodies are designed for endurance. We can run prey to exhaustion. We have more stamina than almost any species in the galaxy. And most importantly, we understand violence in a way they do not. We studied it, refined it, and made it an art form. That is exactly why we hide it, said. But hiding it is making us prey, replied. The other species sense weakness. Their instincts tell them to test us, to push us, to see if we will run. We have been running for 47 years. It is time to stop. Was quiet for a long moment. Then he made his decision. Authorize Stage 2 protocols. Coordinate with Menu. Our ships are permitted to engage hostile forces with full defensive capabilities. That authorization changed everything. 3 days later, a raiding fleet approached the human colony of New Osaka. 12 heavy cruisers, the same number that destroyed Artemis 7. They expected to find frightened civilians and perhaps a few defense platforms they could easily destroy. Instead, they found Menu's fleet waiting for them. The Horizon and 7 other Earth defense ships hung in space, their weapons powered and locked on target. The commander sent a mocking transmission. You humans should run. We do not want to destroy you, but we will. Menu's response was simple, no. They attacked first, launching missiles and energy weapons. The human ships moved, not like the slow, defensive movements they had used before, but with sudden, aggressive precision. Their shields absorbed the first volley easily. Then they returned fire. The difference was shocking. Earth's ships unleashed weapons the galaxy had never seen them use, that fired projectiles at a fraction of light speed. Missiles that split into dozens of smaller missiles, each one seeking a different target. Energy weapons that cut through shields like they were paper. The entire battle lasted 4 minutes. When it was over, all 12 cruisers were destroyed. Not damaged, not disabled, destroyed. The human fleet had not lost a single ship. Menu broadcast on all frequencies so every ship in the sector could hear. This is Admiral Menu of Earth Defense Command. The human colonies are under our protection. Any hostile action will be met with full defensive force. We have been patient. Do not mistake patience for weakness." The recording spread across the galaxy within hours. Species that had never paid attention to humanity suddenly took notice. The humans had ships that could destroy a raiding fleet in 4 minutes. These were their peaceful vessels. At the Galactic Council, watched as the recording played for the assembled delegates. The chamber was silent. The delegation stood frozen, their armor plates rattling in what she had learned was their version of fear. "Ambassador," the speaker said slowly, "your ships appear to be quite advanced." "These are our defense vessels," said calmly. "We have never claimed to be defenseless. We simply preferred peace." A delegate from the species spoke up. "But you told us humans were a peaceful species. You said you had no experience with warfare." Smiled, and it was not a friendly expression. "We never said that. You assumed it. We have considerable experience with warfare. That is precisely why we prefer peace. We know what war costs." The delegate stepped forward. "This was one battle. The Empire has thousands of ships. If Earth wants war, we will give them war." Looked at the directly. "No, you do not want war with humanity. But if you insist, you will learn why we spent 47 years pretending to be weak." The Empire issued a formal declaration that evening. They demanded that Earth surrender 10 colony worlds or face total war. They gave humanity 1 week to comply. Read the declaration and immediately called an emergency meeting of Earth's War Council. This was a group that most people did not know existed. They met in secure facilities and made decisions that were never recorded in public documents. Minyu attended via secure transmission from his flagship, was there in person, provided scientific consultation, and sat at the head of the table, looking at people he had known for years but was seeing clearly for the first time. "They will attack with everything they have," said. "Our intelligence suggests they are gathering at least 500 warships." "Can we defend against that many?" asked. Smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. "Prime Minister, we have been preparing for this possibility since we joined the Galactic Council. The ships that destroyed the fleet were 47 years old. They use technology we consider outdated." "Then what do we have that is current?" asked. Opened a file on the central display. What appeared made his breath catch in his throat. Ships that looked like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Weapons systems with capabilities that seemed impossible. Defense networks that could protect entire star systems. "We built all of this in secret?" asked. "We never stopped being human," said quietly. "We just stopped showing the galaxy what that means. Humans have been at war with each other for our entire history. We have studied every possible way to fight, to kill, to win. The other species had peace for thousands of years before joining the Council. We had wars that killed millions. We developed weapons that could destroy our own planet 3 times over. We learned to fight in space, on land, in water, and in places that have no name." He pulled up more files. "We know biological warfare, chemical warfare, psychological warfare, economic warfare, and types of combat the galaxy has never imagined. We have soldiers trained to fight in any environment against any enemy. We have weapons that can destroy planets, and we have never used them because we understand what they cost." Minyu spoke from the transmission screen. "The question is not whether we can defeat the question is how many of them we are willing to kill." The room was silent, then spoke. "They killed 3,000 civilians at Artemis 7. They have destroyed 6 colonies. They have given us 1 week to surrender 10 more colonies or face war." He paused. "I think it is time Earth stopped pretending." "Agreed," said, "but we should give them 1 chance, 1 warning." "What kind of warning?" asked. Answered, "We tell them the truth, all of it. We show them what humans really are. We give them 72 hours to stop their attacks. If they refuse—" She did not finish the sentence. She did not need to. Nodded slowly. "Prepare the warning, show them everything. Our history, our capabilities, what we have been holding back. Give them a chance to walk away." And if they do not walk away, Minyu asked. Looked at the faces around the room. These people had spent 47 years protecting Earth's secret. 47 years pretending humanity was not what it truly was. 3,000 people had died for that pretense. Then we show them why the galaxy should be grateful we were pretending. Had been a broadcast specialist for Earth's diplomatic corps for 15 years. She had created hundreds of messages for the Galactic Council, always carefully worded to make humanity seem peaceful and reasonable. This was different. She stood in the recording studio, looking at the script had given her. It was not like any diplomatic message she had ever read. This was not diplomacy. This was a warning written in blood and truth. "Are you ready?" asked from the control room. Nodded, the cameras activated. Behind her, screens displayed images that would broadcast across every galactic communication channel simultaneously. There was no way to block it or ignore it. Everyone would see what humanity wanted them to see. She began speaking. "This is a message from Earth to all species in the Galactic Council, and especially to the Empire and the Collective." The screens behind her showed images of Earth from space, beautiful and blue. 47 years ago, humanity joined the galactic community. We were excited to meet other intelligent species. We were happy to learn we were not alone in the universe. We wanted to be good neighbors and peaceful partners. The images changed. Now they showed human colonies, families, children playing under alien skis. But we made a choice when we joined the council. We chose to hide something about ourselves. We chose not to show you our true history. We thought it would frighten you. We thought it would make you distrust us. So we pretended to be something we are not. The images changed again. Now they showed human history, ancient warriors with swords, medieval knights in armor, soldiers with rifles in trenches, tanks rolling across battlefields, aircraft dropping bombs, nuclear explosions lighting up the sky. We pretended to be a peaceful species who did not understand warfare. That was a lie. The camera zoomed closer to his face. Her expression was calm, but her eyes were hard. Humanity has been at war for our entire history. We have fought over land, resources, ideas, and sometimes for reasons we do not even remember. We have developed 10,000 ways to kill each other. We have weapons that can destroy continents. We have diseases we engineered specifically to kill. We have gases that dissolve lungs. We have fire that cannot be extinguished. We have machines that think and kill without mercy. The screens showed more images: chemical warfare, cities in ruins, millions of graves, the cold efficiency of industrial-scale violence. We know warfare better than any species in this galaxy. We studied it. We perfected it. We made it a science. And then we looked at what we had created and we were horrified by ourselves. The images shifted to show the United Earth government forming, ships leaving Earth, colonies being built among the stars. So we stopped. We put down our weapons and built something better. We created peace among ourselves. And when we met you, we chose to be peaceful with you as well. For 47 years, we have maintained this peace." Paused, the silence stretched, then her voice became colder. "But the Empire has attacked our colonies. They have killed our civilians. They have destroyed 6 settlements and murdered 3,000 people. They have done this because they think we are weak." The screen showed the debris field at Artemis 7, bodies floating in space, a child's toy drifting past the camera. "This is our final warning. Earth's final warning to the Empire, the Collective, and anyone else who thinks humans are easy targets. Halt attacking or we stop pretending to be civilized." The images behind her changed to show Earth's military, ships that looked like predators, weapons that gleamed with deadly purpose, soldiers in armor that made them look like something from a nightmare. "We have been civilized for 47 years. We have followed the Council's rules. We have used minimal force. We have been patient and diplomatic, but our patience has limits." Now the screen showed battle simulations, human ships tearing through enemy fleets, weapons that could crack planets, technologies the galaxy had never seen. You have 72 hours to cease all hostile actions against human settlements. You have 72 hours to withdraw from human space. You have 72 hours to prove you understand this warning. Leaned forward slightly, and her next words were delivered with absolute certainty. If you do not, we will show you what humans look like when we stop being civilized. We will show you why we worked so hard to hide our true nature. We will show you what predators can do when they stop pretending to be prey. The screen behind her went dark, except for a single message in every known galactic language. 72 hours. The broadcast ended. For several seconds there was absolute silence across the galaxy. Then chaos erupted. At the Galactic Council, delegates were shouting at each other. Some demanded that Earth be expelled from the Council immediately. Others called for sanctions. A few of the smarter ones called for them to surrender immediately. The speaker tried to restore order but failed. Everyone was talking at once, scared and angry and confused. The humans had been quiet and peaceful for nearly 50 years. This broadcast showed a completely different species. Sat calmly in Earth's delegation seat, watching the chaos. Another human sat beside her now, had arrived from Earth that morning. She was officially listed as an assistant ambassador but knew her real job, ran psychological warfare operations. Her presence meant Earth was serious. "Think they will surrender?" asked quietly. "No," said. "The Empire has too much pride. They will convince themselves the broadcast was a bluff." "Is it a bluff?" Smiled. It was not a nice smile. "No, we are not bluffing. We are warning them because we are still trying to be civilized." In the Empire's home system, Emperor watched the human broadcast for the third time. His military commanders stood around him, their armor gleaming in the harsh light of their war room. "This is human deception," one commander said. "They show us old wars from their primitive past. It means nothing. We have seen their ships. They are strong but not invincible. They destroyed 12 cruisers in 4 minutes," another commander pointed out. "With surprise and luck," the first commander insisted. "The Empire has 500 warships ready to deploy. We will crush their colonies and take their home world. These humans need to learn their place." Emperor was not convinced. He had ruled the Empire for 30 years. He had conquered 12 systems and destroyed 3 civilizations. He knew what real threats looked like, and something about that broadcast troubled him. "Why would they warn us?" he asked. "If they wanted to attack, why give us 72 hours to prepare?" His commanders had no good answer for that. Finally, one said, "Perhaps they are weak and hope to frighten us into surrender." Thought about the images in the broadcast, the nuclear explosions, the engineered diseases, the cold efficiency of human warfare. These were not the weapons of a weak species, but his empire had momentum now. Other species were watching. If they backed down from humans, it would show weakness. "We continue with the attack," decided. "Assemble the full battle fleet. In 72 hours, we will show the humans what real military power looks like." On Earth, stood in a facility that did not officially exist. He was the youngest admiral in Earth's military, only 42 years old. But he was in charge of the Experimental Weapons Division, which made him one of the most dangerous people in the galaxy. The facility around him was vast, stretching for kilometers underground. In this facility were weapons that had never been used in combat. Some of them had never been fully tested. They existed because humans were very good at finding new ways to kill, even when they were trying not to. "Admiral, all systems are ready," his chief engineer reported. Walked through rows of weapons platforms. He saw the kinetic orbital platforms, called rods from God by the soldiers. Simple tungsten rods that could be dropped from orbit, hitting with the force of nuclear weapons but without the radiation. He saw swarm missile systems that could turn a single missile into 10,000 individual warheads. He saw energy weapons that could burn through shields like they were not there. In another section were biological weapons, each one tailored to affect specific alien biology. They were stored in maximum containment, and everyone who worked with them took showers that lasted 30 minutes and required 3 different decontamination stages. In yet another section were the AI weapons, autonomous systems that could fight entire battles without human control. Earth had banned these from general use decades ago, worried about creating something that could turn against humans, but they existed and they were ready. "Has the warning been sent?" asked. "Yes, sir, 68 hours remaining." Nodded. He hoped they would surrender. He really did, because if they did not, he would have to use weapons that he had spent years hopping would never leave these bunkers. Across human space, similar preparations were happening, and his stealth fleet moved into position around systems. Marine forces began loading onto assault ships. Earth's leading AI specialist activated defense networks that had been sleeping for 47 years. Who commanded the Ghost Protocol teams, sent his operators into position throughout the galaxy. These were humans who specialized in infiltration, sabotage, and psychological operations. They did not wear uniforms or carry flags. They simply made problems disappear. And Minu's main fleet, the one everyone could see, gathered at Earth. 300 ships, all of them built in the last 10 years. They were not like the old defense ships that had destroyed the raiders. These were warships designed for one purpose, to fight and win. Prime Minister stood on Earth, looking up at the sky where he knew the fleet was gathering, stood beside him. "Do you think they will back down?" he asked. "No," said. "They are predators too in their way. They hunt in packs. They have conquered other species. They think they understand warfare. But they do not." Shook her head. "They understand their kind of warfare, swarm tactics, overwhelming numbers. They have never fought against something that hunts smarter, not harder. And that is what we are. That is what we have always been," said. "Humans did not become the dominant species on Earth by being the strongest. We became dominant by being the predators. We tracked our prey for days. We planned ambushes. We used tools and strategy. We cooperated in ways other predators could not imagine. The Think War is about numbers. They are about to learn it is about intelligence." 60 hours passed, then 65, then 70. The galaxy held its breath. At 71 hours, the Empire sent their response. It was not a surrender. It was a declaration of war. They would attack Earth in 1 week with their full military might. They would make an example of humanity. They would show the galaxy what happened to species who threatened the Empire. The broadcast ended with the Emperor's final words. "Humans talk too much. We will teach them silence." On Earth, in the secure command center, read the message. Then he looked at Minu and all the others who had been preparing for this moment. "They chose war," he said quietly. "Yes, sir," confirmed. "Then give the order. Show them why we tried so hard to avoid this." Activated the command channel. Across human space and beyond, on ships and stations and hidden facilities, soldiers received a message they had trained for but never expected to see. Protocol Level 7 authorized. WAPONS free. Humanity AT war. The pretending was over. The warnings were finished. Now the Empire would learn what humans were really like when they stopped being civilized. The Empire had 500 warships assembled for their attack on human space. They gathered in formation near their staging world, confident in their numbers and their history of conquest. Their sensors showed nothing unusual. Space appeared empty around them. That was because they were looking with the wrong sensors. Watched from the Silent Promise, positioned less than 1,000 kilometers from the fleet. His stealth ship and 40 others like it had been in position for 3 days. They had no idea they were there. All ships confirm ready status, his communication officer whispered, even though there was no way they could hear them. Check the countdown timer. 30 seconds until the coordinated strike began. He thought about the 3,000 civilians who died at Artemis 7. He thought about the families who would never see their homes again. He thought about the Emperor's words, "Humans talk too much." The timer reached 0. All ships, said calmly, execute Operation Nightfall. 41 stealth ships revealed themselves simultaneously, appearing on sensors like ghosts materializing from nothing. Before they could react, the human ships fired. These were not the weapons the galaxy had seen before. These were experimental munitions designed specifically for this moment. Smart missiles that could think for themselves. Energy lances that could punch through 3 ships in a single shot. Mines that could move on their own, seeking targets and destroying them. The fleet tried to respond, but they were in formation, packed close together for their planned attack. That formation became a death trap. Human weapons moved through them like a disease, each shot destroying multiple targets. In 8 minutes, 127 warships were destroyed. The survivors scattered in every direction, their formation shattered, their coordination gone. Let them run. That was part of the plan. At the same moment, in 40 different systems, similar attacks were happening. Minu's main fleet emerged from jump points that should not have existed. Earth had spent 47 years mapping the galaxy far better than anyone else realized. They knew shortcuts and hidden routes that other species had never found. The Horizon led the assault on the military shipyards at 9. Minu stood on his bridge, watching as his fleet tore through the defense platforms like they were made of paper. Target the construction facilities, he ordered. Precision strikes only, no civilian casualties. That was the difference between human warfare and what they expected. Humans did not need to kill civilians to win. They could strike military targets with such precision that nothing else was touched. Rounds that could thread through a city and hit only the intended target. Missiles that knew the difference between a soldier and a child. The shipyards at 9 were destroyed in 17 minutes. The city below them was untouched. The civilians stared up at the sky, watching their military infrastructure burn while their homes remained safe. It was more terrifying than if the humans had destroyed everything. At the led the Marine assault. His orders were specific: demonstrate capability without excessive killing. Show that humans could reach anywhere, anytime, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. His drop ships entered the atmosphere at locations that the thought were impossible to reach. They landed near military command centers, near the Emperor's palace, near the Central Defense Coordination Facility. Soldiers rushed to respond, confident in their superior numbers. They learned quickly that numbers did not matter. Human soldiers in powered armor moved with a speed and precision that shocked the defenders. They used weapons they had never seen. Non-lethal stun fields when possible, lethal force when necessary. They completed their objectives, and before they could organize a proper response. At the Emperor's palace, himself led the strike team. They entered through defenses that should have been impenetrable, moved past guards who never saw them coming, and reached the Emperor's command chamber in less than 6 minutes. Emperor found himself staring at a human in black armor, weapons pointed at him by soldiers who had appeared like smoke. Removed his helmet so the Emperor could see his face. "We could have killed you," said simply. "We chose not to. This is us being civilized. Remember that." Then they were gone, vanishing as quickly as they had appeared. The entire raid lasted 11 minutes. 0 civilian casualties. 17 soldiers dead, all of them because they fired first. The Emperor's personal guards were left alive, stunned and confused in the hallways of a palace they were supposed to protect. In orbit above the experimental weapons were being demonstrated. He had not wanted to use them. Even now, with authorization for total war, he used only the minimum necessary. The rods from God fell from orbit. Simple tungsten poles, accelerated by gravity and precisely guided. They hit military targets with the force of nuclear weapons, but without the radiation, without the fallout, without the long-term devastation. Barracks, command centers, and weapons factories simply ceased to exist, replaced by craters and twisted metal. The orbital defense network tried to respond. Their weapons targeted the human ships, firing with the desperation of a dying military. Working from her command station aboard the Pathfinder, countered every move they made. She had spent 10 years developing AI systems for electronic warfare. Now she unleashed them. The AI swarms moved through the defense networks like water through a sieve, taking control of systems, turning weapons against their owners, broadcasting false information that sent ships to wrong locations at wrong times. Within 3 hours, they lost complete control of their own network. Their ships could not communicate. Their defenses could not coordinate. They were fighting blind while the humans could see everything. Ghost Protocol teams worked on a different level. They had infiltrated systems weeks ago, waiting for authorization to act. Now they moved. Banking systems crashed, erasing military funding. Communication networks showed propaganda videos of human military capabilities. Navigation systems fed false coordinates to fleeing ships. Supply chains collapsed as warehouses suddenly could not find their own inventory. It was warfare without shooting, destroying an empire's ability to function without killing anyone. The military command tried to coordinate a response, but found they could not even contact their own units. Every channel they opened was either jammed or hijacked. Meanwhile, the collective was learning they had made a terrible mistake. Their energy-based ships were powerful, but they relied heavily on electronic systems to maintain cohesion. AI swarms found them easily. Ships suddenly found their power cores fluctuating. Their weapons would not fire. Their shields collapsed at random moments. And then they started receiving messages, not threats, educational materials. The messages showed them exactly what humans were doing to their systems, showed them how vulnerable they were, showed them that humans could have destroyed them all but were choosing not to. And then offered terms: withdraw from the conflict immediately and assist in convincing them to surrender or be systematically dismantled. The collective discussed this for approximately 4 minutes before agreeing to Earth's terms. They were a practical species. They understood when they had lost. At the Galactic Council, watched the reports coming in from across space. The council chamber was in chaos. Delegates were shouting, demanding explanations, calling for action. But there was nothing they could do. This was happening too fast and too completely. Sat beside, monitoring the psychological impact of Earth's campaign. She had spent months preparing information packages for this moment. Now she released them, one after another, showing the galaxy exactly what was happening and why. The Empire has lost 60% of its military infrastructure in 96 hours, she narrated in a broadcast that reached every civilized world. Earth has accomplished this with minimal loss of life. Current military casualties, approximately 8,000. Current civilian casualties, 0. She let that number sink in. 0. Earth had torn apart an empire's military and not killed a single civilian. This is humanity fighting while trying to remain civilized, continued. The Empire called for total war. They threatened to destroy human colonies and enslave our people. Earth's response has been precise, surgical, and devastating. We have shown that we can destroy their military while protecting their civilians. We have shown that we can reach any target at any time. We have shown that numbers do not matter when facing a technologically superior force guided by centuries of military experience. The broadcast showed footage of human operations, drop ships landing in defended cities without causing collateral damage, precision strikes that destroyed only military targets, AI warfare that crippled infrastructure without killing anyone. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The humans have been holding back, an alien analyst said during a live commentary. For 47 years, they showed us outdated technology and defensive tactics. Now we see what they really are. They are predators who learn to be surgeons. They can kill with precision we did not think was possible. Back on Earth, received regular updates from all fronts. Every report said the same thing: complete success. The Empire was collapsing faster than anyone had predicted. They are trying to surrender, reported. The Emperor sent a message requesting terms. Already, asked, it has only been 4 days. They understand now, explained. They thought humans were like them, fighting with numbers and brute force. They did not understand that we fight with our minds first. They cannot coordinate. They cannot communicate. They cannot even trust their own systems. And we have done all of this while killing as few of them as possible. That scares them more than anything. If we can do this while being careful, what could we do if we stopped caring about casualties? Nodded slowly. What are the Emperor's terms? He offers complete surrender, said. Withdrawal from all human systems. Reparations for the destroyed colonies. Recognition of human military superiority. He is begging us to stop. Begging raised an eyebrow. His exact words were, please, no more. His military is shattered. His people are terrified. His economy is in ruins, and we have not even deployed our full capabilities. Looked at, what do you recommend? Accept the surrender, said. We have proven our point. The galaxy now understands what humans can do. If we push further, we risk becoming what we were trying not to be. Monsters. No, said quietly. Conquerors. We can destroy the Empire completely. We can make an example that will terrify the galaxy for generations. Or we can show mercy and prove that our warning was honest. We fight only when we must, and we stop when we have won. Made his decision. Contact the Emperor. Tell him we accept his surrender, but there are conditions. He will personally appear before the Galactic Council and explain why attacking humanity was a mistake. He will use resources to help rebuild our colonies. And most importantly, the military will assist us in creating a new galactic defense force. Why would we want them in a defense force? Asked. Smiled. Because if we are going to take responsibility for galactic security, we will need allies who understand we are serious. They attacked us with 500 ships. We destroyed them in 4 days while killing almost no one. That lesson will be taught to every species in the galaxy, not as a threat but as a promise. We can protect them all if they let us. The surrender was broadcast across every channel. Emperor, surrounded by the ruins of his military command, spoke to the galaxy. The Empire attacked humanity because we thought they were weak. We were wrong. They are the most dangerous species in the galaxy, and they have been holding back for 47 years. They could have destroyed us completely. Instead, they showed mercy. This is a lesson we will never forget. The war was over. Humanity had won. But more importantly, they had won while proving they could still be civilized. The galaxy would never see humans the same way again. 5 years after the war, Minyu walked through the halls of Galactic Defense Command headquarters. The building was new, built on a station orbiting Earth where everyone could see it. Inside were soldiers from 40 different species, all of them working together under human leadership. It still felt strange to him. He had spent so many years being told to hold back, to be gentle, to not show what humans could really do. Now he was the supreme commander of galactic military forces, and everyone looked to humanity for protection. A young officer saluted as Minyu passed. They wore the uniform of the new defense force, the same uniform worn by humans and dozens of other species. 5 years ago, that would have been impossible. Now it was normal. Commander Minyu, they said respectfully. The perimeter patrols have reported no incidents. Good, Minyu replied. Keep watching. The galaxy is safer than it was, but that does not mean we can stop being vigilant. They nodded and returned to his duties. Minyu continued walking, thinking about how much had changed. The Empire no longer existed as a separate power. They had joined the unified defense force, their warriors serving alongside those who had defeated them. It had not been easy, but it worked. At the Galactic Council sat in a new position. She was no longer just Earth's ambassador. She was the security chair of the Council, responsible for protecting all member species. It was a position that had not existed before the war. The Council created it specifically for humanity. "Ambassador, we have a report from the Outer Rim," an assistant said. "Pirates are raiding trade ships near the Kelvin Nebula." "Send stealth fleet," said without hesitation. "Tell them to disable the pirate ships if possible, destroy them if necessary. We want prisoners for questioning." The assistant nodded and hurried away, smiled slightly. Pirates had learned quickly that the galaxy had new protectors. Most of them had stopped their activities entirely. The few who remained were either very brave or very stupid. Entered the office carrying a data pad. She had become chief of staff, using her skills in psychological operations to help maintain peace instead of wage war. "The public opinion surveys are back," said. 78% of council species approve of human leadership of defense forces. That is up from 73% last year. "And the other 22%, asked. "Mostly worried that humans have too much power. They remember the war. They know what we can do." "Good," said. "They should remember. Fear prevents conflict better than trust. As long as they know we could destroy them but choose not to, they will think twice before attacking anyone." Nodded. "The new military academies are producing their first graduates. We have 500 officers trained in human military doctrine, representing 37 different species." "How do they compare to our own soldiers?" asked. "They are learning," said carefully. "But none of them think like humans. They understand the tactics but not the mindset. We are still teaching them that warfare is about more than weapons and numbers." That was the great challenge of the new defense force. Humans understood warfare in their bones. They had evolved as persistent hunters, tracking prey for days, planning ambushes, cooperating in ways other predators could not match. Other species had to learn these skills. It did not come naturally to them. Oversaw the reconstruction of their military facilities. The structures were being rebuilt with human assistance and human technology. They were learning new ways to fight, ways that focused on precision and intelligence rather than overwhelming force. "General," a commander said. His name was, and he had fought against human forces during the war. Now he trained with them. "I do not understand why you help us. We attacked your people. We killed your civilians. Why do you rebuild our military?" Looked at the construction site. "Because we need allies, not enemies. You made a mistake. We defeated you. Now we move forward together. That is how humans make peace. We do not hold grudges that prevent cooperation." "But do you trust us?" asked. "No," said honestly. "Trust is earned, but we respect your warrior culture. You fight for what you believe in. That is something we understand. We just need to make sure you believe in the right things." Was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "During the war, your soldiers could have killed me. I was defending the Emperor's palace. I fired at your team. One of your humans shot the weapon from my hands instead of killing me. Why?" "Because you were doing your duty," said. "We respect that. We only kill when necessary. That is what makes us different from what you thought we were." That conversation represented something important. The galaxy was learning that humans were not mindless killers. They were careful killers, which was somehow more frightening and more reassuring at the same time. At Earth, prepared to step down as Prime Minister. His term was ending and new leadership was being selected. He met within his office one last time in an official capacity. "The security protocols are functioning well," reported. "We have stopped 47 potential conflicts before they started. The Defense Force has responded to 212 incidents across the galaxy. Casualties are down 93% compared to before we took responsibility for security. And the secret programs? Asked quietly. His expression became serious. All classified systems remain hidden and operational. The galaxy knows we are strong. They do not know how strong. The experimental weapons, the AI warfare systems, the biological agents, the planet-killing technologies, all of it is still secret, still maintained, still ready. Do you think we will ever need them again? Asked. I hope not, said. But humans do not survive by hopping. We survive by being prepared. The galaxy is safer because they know we defeated the Empire in 4 days. They should never learn that we were using less than 10% of our actual capabilities. Nodded. That was the final secret. Earth had won the war while barely trying. The weapons and tactics they used were from approved military systems. The truly dangerous technologies, the ones that could destroy civilizations, had never been deployed, and the galaxy would never know they existed unless absolutely necessary. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in facilities that were not on any official records, other preparations continued. Oversaw the next generation of weapons development. Humanity was at peace, but humans never stopped preparing for war. It was in their nature. The new stealth systems are ready, his chief engineer reported. They are 10 times more effective than what we used against them. A ship equipped with this technology could sit next to a star and not be detected. And the kinetic weapons? Asked. We can now target individual buildings from 3 light-years away. Precision within centimeters. The rod would arrive before any warning system could detect it. Reviewed the specifications. They were terrifying. A single ship equipped with these systems could destroy an entire civilization before they knew they were under attack. It was the ultimate guarantee of Earth's security. Maintain development but do not deploy, ordered. These systems exist as insurance. We are the galaxy's protectors now. We cannot be seen developing weapons that could destroy those we protect. Understood, sir. The projects will continue in secure facilities. That was the balance humanity maintained. Publicly, they were the defenders of galactic peace, using measured force and careful tactics. Privately, they were still the same species that had nearly destroyed itself multiple times, still developing weapons that could end civilizations. The difference was choice. Humans chose to protect instead of conquer. They chose mercy instead of domination. But they maintained the ability to choose differently if necessary. Now an admiral commanding the stealth fleet sat in his quarters aboard the Silent Promise. On his desk was a data pad containing files labeled Emergency Protocol, If We Must Become Monsters. Every senior officer had a copy. Every officer hoped they would never open it. The protocols detailed what humanity would do if faced with an existential threat. No more restraint. No more measured responses. No more trying to minimize casualties. Just pure, efficient, overwhelming violence designed to eliminate threats completely and permanently. Had read the protocols once. That was enough. They described tactics that made the war look gentle. Biological weapons tailored to destroy specific species. AI swarms that could consume entire technological civilizations. Kinetic bombardment that could crack planets, psychological warfare that could drive entire populations insane, technologies that could collapse stars or tear holes in spacetime itself. Humans had imagined every possible way to destroy an enemy and created weapons to do it. They just chose not to use them. At a small ceremony on Earth, statues were unveiled at the site where Artemis 7 had been attacked. 3,000 names were carved into black stone, one for each person who died. The memorial bore a simple inscription. They died while we were pretending to be weak. We will honor them by never pretending again. Families gathered around the memorial. Spoke at the ceremony, her words broadcast across human space. We did not want war. We tried everything to avoid it, But when war came, we fought with everything we had. We won not because we were the strongest, but because we were and when we won, we chose mercy over vengeance. That is what makes us human." She paused, looking at the names on the memorial. "These people died because we were afraid to show what we really are. We were afraid the galaxy would fear us, but fear is not always wrong. Sometimes fear is respect. Sometimes fear is safety. The galaxy fears us now, and because they fear us, they are safer than they have ever been." At the Galactic Council building, a new chamber had been constructed. It was called the Hall of Understanding. Inside were exhibits showing human history, both the beautiful and the terrible parts, artwork and music and literature from Earth's cultures, but also weapons and war footage and statistics on human conflicts. The purpose was simple: never let the galaxy forget what humans are capable of. Not to threaten them, but to remind them why peace matters. Had designed the exhibits personally, making sure they showed the complete truth about humanity. She stood in the hall now, watching a group of alien students tour the exhibits. They stopped at a display showing nuclear weapons. "Why did humans make weapons that could destroy themselves?" one student asked. "Approached them. Because we were afraid. Fear makes people do terrible things. But fear also taught us an important lesson. We learned that we could destroy ourselves, and we chose not to. That choice is what makes us civilized." "But you still have these weapons," another student pointed out. "The displays say Earth maintains nuclear weapons and worse." "Yes," confirmed. "We do, because we learned another lesson. Peace does not come from being helpless. Peace comes from being powerful enough to destroy your enemies but wise enough not to. We maintain our weapons as a reminder of what we could do and what we choose not to do." The students were quiet, absorbing this information. Then one asked, "If humans are so dangerous, why do we let you protect us?" Smiled, "Because we are dangerous to those who threaten peace. The Empire learned that. Pirates learn it every day. Anyone who wants to hurt the weak or conquer the helpless learns it eventually. But we are not dangerous to those who want to live in peace. We are their guardians." Years passed. The Galactic Defense Force grew stronger. Conflicts decreased. Trade flourished. The galaxy entered an age of prosperity unlike any in its recorded history, and throughout it all, humanity stood watch. Minu grew old in service. He trained a new generation of officers from a dozen species, teaching them that warfare was a last resort, but when it came, it should be swift and decisive. He retired eventually, replaced by a commander who had learned from humans and understood their way of thinking. Served 4 terms as security chair before stepping down. She returned to Earth and wrote books about diplomacy and the necessity of strength in maintaining peace. Her writings became required reading at every military academy in the galaxy. Lived to be 97 years old. On his last day, he visited the memorial at Artemis 7 and stood before the names of those who died. He had never forgiven himself for not being faster, for not being stronger, for not preventing their deaths. But he had made sure their sacrifice meant something. In secure facilities across human space, weapons remained ready. Officers maintained their copies of emergency protocols. Engineers continued developing technologies that would horrify the galaxy if they knew they existed. Soldiers trained in tactics that would make the war look like a warning shot. Because humans understood something the rest of the galaxy did not. Peace is not the absence of violence. Peace is violence controlled, channeled, and held in reserve for when it is absolutely necessary. The galaxy was safe because humans were dangerous. The galaxy prospered because humans chose to use their danger to protect instead of destroy. And the galaxy slept soundly because somewhere, always, humans stood watch in the dark, ready to become monsters if monsters were needed. But only if they were needed. That was humanity's gift to the galaxy. Not peace through weakness, but peace through strength. Not safety through trust, but safety through fear controlled by wisdom. Not protection by those who did not understand violence, but protection by those who understood it completely and used it only as a last resort. 50 years after the war, a new species applied to join the Galactic Council. They were aggressive and confident, convinced of their own superiority. The Council showed them recordings of the war, showed them what happened to species who threatened galactic peace. The new species their application, and spent 10 years learning to be peaceful before trying again. Humanity's reputation preceded them. Their warning had been heard, and the galaxy was better for it. In his final transmission before retiring, recorded a message for future generations of the stealth fleet. We are humanity's shadow, watching from the dark. We see threats before they emerge. We eliminate problems before they become wars. We do terrible things so that good people can live in peace. That is our burden and our honor. Never forget what we are capable of. Never forget why we hold back. And never, ever let the galaxy forget why they should be grateful we are on their side. The message ended with the motto of the stealth fleet, words that captured everything humanity had become. We are the monsters who protect you from monsters. Pray you never make us forget the difference. The galaxy was safe. Humanity had stopped pretending, and everyone, human and alien alike, was better for the truth being known. The predators were finally protecting the herd, and the herd could sleep soundly knowing that the most dangerous species in the galaxy was on their side. As long as they remained on their side, as long as they remembered the warning, as long as they understood that humans were civilized by choice, not by nature. Earth's final warning had been heard and remembered, and that memory kept the peace for generations to come.